What's up, y'all? It's your girl Karma, and we are back with another episode of Creating Life Changes. And you know, I am here with my one and only gal,
Petra.
Yes, ma'am.
Petra.
How are you today?
I'm tired.
I think we're always tired because we record late.
That's possible. Yeah.
So let's just get straight into the conversation today. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
We are going to talk about religion and relationships.
The two R's.
Ooh. So the question is, how can we maintain strong, respectful relationships, romantic or platonic, when religious beliefs are either aligned or different? That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Oh,
It's a mouthful, isn't it? Right?
I think that's hard in some relationships and some not.
I think it's a major issue. And I think people try to make it seem like it's not, but it really, really is.
I think it depends on, for one, I think it depends on your religion. That's a big thing. And how strong you are in your religion.
That's the key. Mm-hmm. How strong or how deep you are in your religion or spiritual journey.
Yes.
Because usually somewhat that is the foundation of who we are and why we believe the things that we believe in. And honestly, I had to do a lot of research for this topic because,
interesting.
For one, I'm still new in my own spiritual journey, in my Christianity. So, I'm not newbie, but I'm still growing and learning it. And I had to research other religions because I was like, okay, I know names of, but I really don't know like what their salvation is, what their belief is, what all that stuff. So I was like, let me dig into that. And I learned some new terms, so I might say them wrong throughout here. So I apologize now, right? Mm-hmm. So, I had asked a couple people. Did you listen to the voice note?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I had asked a couple people this question, and I got some replies, mainly from men, and I got like two replies from females. And one of the common things that I heard that men were saying was that they were so secure in their own beliefs and journeys, and they're more on a spiritual aspect to the point where the other person's belief really didn't matter. Like, it mattered, but it wasn't like, if they believed in something different other than them, as long as it wasn't demonic, they said they will be able to be in a relationship with that person.
So that's two things for that. First thing is, I feel like naturally it's easier for a man for in most cases, because a lot of times in most cases men are alphas and they're the leader. So in a relationship, when a woman comes in, she's going to follow her man. He's going to be the leading. Granted, she might have her own religion, but a lot of times what he does, what she sees him doing, eventually she's going to start following him. Yeah. So, of course, if they're secure in what they're doing, they a lot of times don't have anything to worry about because the woman's going to go his direction. A lot of times. Not in every case, but a lot of times. So, I can see that being a thing. However, there are times, depending on the woman that you are with, again, as women, I think we talked about this
last episode.
Yeah. We can be persuasive. And it's not even always us just verbally saying anything, but it can be, our different actions,
our facial expressions, our body language.
And then even like, us, once you get sexual with somebody and y'all intertwine spirits and stuff like that, it's a pull and a tug. So if y'all got two different types of spirits, somebody's going to win. And it's not always the man that's going to win. Sometimes it's the woman. And that's from our religion, that's biblical.
That's a good aspect. I don't even know if we want to get into it. I mean, we might as well get into it from there. So this is definitely taking a different turn.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry sorry, but I like how you went there, because when I was talking to all these individuals about their religion beliefs and all that, you know me, I love playing devil's advocate, so I'm asking all these hard questions. But I did not even think to bring sex into the picture, because sex is a very intimate thing that we do with, it should be, that we do with people. It's not just a pleasure for our physical body, but our spiritual realm. Something is getting intertwined in there. And if your belief is different than my belief, we don't know what other demonic, if there is, going there. So that can also add to your ear. And I didn't even think about that.
But I mean, again, in our religion or whatever, that's biblical. That happened. That's happened to many people. We could talk about Solomon, one of the wisest men ever. That God made the wisest man. He had, what was it, 700 wives? He had a whole bunch.
He had a whole bunch of wives.
He had a lot. And one of the things that God told him was not to go in to his wives and do certain things, because it was going to basically persuade him to worship other gods and stuff like that. And what he did exactly what God told him not to do. And what did he do? Start worshiping other gods, and that's why he got in trouble.
That's plagiarism and all that.
And that's happened a couple times in the Bible, where the man, because of the women that they were dealing with, they start getting persuaded. And I'm not saying it was always like the women were intentional about it, trying to tell them, oh, come over here. But if I'm having sex with you, and I see you doing a lot of things, and it might make them curious, and they're like, oh, I want to do the same thing my wife is doing or whatever. Sometimes it just happens. I don't know. Wasn't there to see exactly, but that's a thing.
Good thing that I didn't even think of. So let's rewind it back a bit. Let's take it from the beginning. A, do you think for your personal life, religion, morals, and values matter when
Absolutely,
you're picking 100%. About dating?
Now, don't get me wrong. Have I been in a relationship?
Wait, don't answer that question. Wait.
All right, yes,
we're gonna keep it simple.
Yes.
Do you think that you will be able to date somebody who has a different religious belief than you?
Depends on the different religious belief, because there are some things that, I hate to say Christian or whatever, because I've been reading more of my Bible and stuff, but the closest thing is Christian right now, which is what I do. There are other beliefs that are very similar and close to Christianity.
Like Judaism?
Yes, but certain things that
certain
say,
things.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
so it depends.
It crosses.
Yes. So certain things that, if it's very close to what I believe, depending on our conversations and everything, yes, I can. If you in a whole different, no, absolutely not.
So off the top of your head that you could think of, what is one besides atheists? Besides that, because obviously that's most people are going to say no to that one. What religion do you think that you would not be able?
Jehovah's Witness.
Why not?
Because they believe. They believe a lot of stuff that's not. I'm gonna say, and I ain't gonna say what's right or wrong, but that I don't personally believe.
Okay.
There's some stuff don't line up.
They're very, very strict too.
They are very strict.
So this one girl, she answered my post, and remind y'all, I do post a lot on my personal page, Creating Life Changes, the questions to get your input and all that. So make sure you follow that. And I do have an email address that you guys can just email me directly if you guys don't have social media. But she told me that as long as the other person is open-minded and willing to understand her beliefs, and she is willing to understand his beliefs, and it does not put any limitations or restrict it on the women, she will be able to date that person. And I was like, that's a valid point, because some religions and some cultures, women do not have the same amount of freedom that we do in America. And that would be something that she would have to, she don't think that's one reason why she wouldn't be able to deal with somebody else with that type of religion.
I get that.
And I was like, that's fair. That's fair.
I get that.
Me personally, I'm a very open-minded person. So your religious beliefs and values matter to me. I'm not ever going to discredit you, but there is a certain lifestyle that I want to live. And my biggest thing for me is conflict. Mm-hmm. If conflict comes into play, And I'm not too familiar with other religions. I don't really know too much, but I know for Christianity, for me, we let God and the Holy Spirit be our leader, right?
Correct.
If you're dealing conflict, or let's say we get married, I want you not to only look at me, like you said last video, like love me like God. You're supposed to love your wife like you love God.
And like you love yourself.
Mm-hmm. You love yourself, right? I want you to have that conviction in your heart, but not because if you hurt me, because you disobeyed what you believed in as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't know. But however, I did learn that there's a lot of other religions that still have that same kind of moral things. So it really all depends. But I also think about how I want my child raised.
Mm-hmm.
And I had brought that up to some people that I was debating this topic with. And they was like, when your kids are going to grow up to do anything they want to do, no matter if you raise them a certain way, right? That was my face expression too. So they said that, think of us as kids. I didn't really grow up in a religious household, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was introduced. I had certain family members that would do it, right? So that's instilled in me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably one of the only hardcore religious person that's in like my immediate and aunts and uncles.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a Jehovah's Witness aunt. But from their aspect, they were basically saying like your kid is gonna do what they want to do when they get older. But my rebuttal to that is, in those times when they're in their hard needs, they're gonna remember what my mama did, what my daddy did, what they did. So I feel like that still matters.
I agree absolutely with what you said. Again, this goes with our belief. Raise a child up in the way you would want them to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another scripture. Don't quote me. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but basically, they're gonna eventually come back. So yes, don't get it wrong. When you raise your child, no matter if you raise them to be this great wholesome child, you raise them to go to church. Of course, yes, when they get older, they're gonna do a lot of stuff that you did not raise them to do.
They're gonna learn.
We did it. I was raised in the church, heavy. My mom did not play. I was in church 3, 4, 5 days a week. It was crazy. But look where I am now as an adult. Don't get me wrong. When I got older and I went to college and stuff, did I go out and explore and try different things? Absolutely, I did. But again, when times got hard,
I knew what Old Faithful was.
What? God, you still love me? Cause yeah. So no, I feel like you are supposed to raise them just because they're going to do it. That's just like saying, okay, just because the child is going to do what they want, you don't have to go to school because you might not go to college. You might not want to be a doctor. You might want to be a bum on the street. So you're going to do what you want. So you don't got to go to school. Like, what? No, just that doesn't mean I'm not going to properly teach you and train you in the way you should be just because you're going to stray a little bit when you get older. You're going to put them in as an adult. Yeah.
I know for me, the biggest no that I would not date is if you don't believe that there's something higher than you.
Yeah, atheist.
But you got some people that's non-dimensional or not. What's that word?
Denominational.
Yes.
But I'm in a sense. I'm not. But non-denominational is only saying because you got Pentecostal, you got Kojic, you got so many parts of Christian. For example, you got so many parts of Christianity. That's just saying I'm not just because Pentecostal has certain they used to have certain rules where you are not supposed to wear makeup. Your skirt should be a 1/4 inch past your knee. You're supposed to wear stock, certain things like that.
Mm-hmm.
In each I guess you want to say branch under Christianity. Mm-hmm. You got Baptists.
Yeah.
You got Southern Baptists. So
Pentecostal.
Non-denominational is just saying I'm just a Christian. I'm not a Pentecostal Christian. I'm not.
Okay, so then maybe that's not the right word.
Yeah.
The word I'm looking for is there's some people that don't believe in anything. They don't believe in anything. They're not saying that there's a devil. They're not saying that there's a God. Correct. They're not saying. I can't date anyone like that.
No.
They have no spiritual aspects or anything. Now,
that's
can I be
an atheist though?
You think?
It is. They believe nothing is a thing.
So, what about the people? I know you have people that only believe in science.
Yeah, those.
I forgot what that's.
It's not a Scientologist, is it? No.
I don't know, something. Guys, help us out here. Help us out here. But I'm just saying, and then you got some, I don't know what they call the people who believe in the devil, who worship the devil.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what they are called either. I didn't look into that because I didn't even want to open that door with my brain. Nope. I am a strong believer you are what you watch, what you see, and all that stuff, and I'm not doing it. So, I can't date nobody with that. If you don't have no idea that there's something outside yourself, then I will not be able to date you. That's just me. As far as friendships, I wouldn't mind, being cordial or being respectful with you and all that stuff.
Cordial and respectful.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how deep of a friend, but at the same time, I don't know what you're going through as a.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean you're you're a friend. We can be. For me, we can be associates. I don't mind talking to you.
Because I want to plant the seed. Exactly. As much as I can. For me and my religion, if I can plant a seed in you and you can remember something, then I'm going to do it. And I'll do that with anybody I talk to. I could talk to a whole total stranger and I'm planting a seed some way, somehow. So, but the way this topic came up, I was talking to somebody and we were talking about values and morals and beliefs. And, the election just happened. So people have their views on that. And I'm like, okay, if you're trying to set these boundaries and live your truth and be the person you want to be, why is it that you're going to deal with somebody who doesn't believe in the stuff that you believe in? Why would you associate yourself with somebody that you don't believe in stuff you believe in? And everybody always says I'm nice, I'm respectful, I'm whatever. I'm like, that's cool, but are you violating your own beliefs and your own rights if you end up dating somebody who doesn't believe it with you?
And that's why I said what I said, oh, well, I didn't feel it because you told me no.
Yeah, because I want to get into it now.
But that's why, now in the past, have I? Yes. In the past I have, especially when I wasn't as deep or as strong as I am, don't get me wrong. I'm still like a toddler in this. I'm still learning. But in the past I have. But now, that's a thing. You can't be unequally yoked. That's in the Bible. Not straddling the fence. Sweet and salt can't come out the same. I don't remember exactly how I said it, the same fossil, whatever. It's a lot of references to the Bible that lets you know you are not birds of a feather flock together. It's just worded differently, but that basically comes out of the Bible. I didn't even know that. I found that actually recently, and I was like, oh, that's really a thing. So the people that you surround yourself around, are supposed to be, don't get me wrong, he does want you to go out and witness and talk to people.
Let me say, you are a disciple.
Yes. But as far as your normal people that you're always around and stuff like that, they are supposed to be close to, if not almost exactly following the same stuff that you're following, because again, there's a pull and a tug. So if I have a lot of people around me that are doing the opposite of what I believe, somebody's going to pull, and a lot of times, if it's a lot more of them than me, they're probably going to be the one pulling me.
That's valid, and we can even talk about our own friend dynamic. Let's not only talk about romantic. You always been, since I knew you, always been into the church. Mm-hmm. Always have been. Obviously, leveled up when you had to experience your own life because we were teenagers still. Right. I knew about it, but I grew in it, right? But that also goes around from always hearing it around you, always having it around you. But even when you go on your spiritual fast and stuff, and we still have events, you're like, oh, I'm not drinking all that. We still respect you. Very much we don't distance you. Oh, she's doing her spiritual thing, so we can't come. You can't do this. We're like, no, we give you the opportunity. Do you want to come? This is what's going on. Like, okay, cool. I'm just not drinking. We're like, bet apple juice it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You need those people that's not gonna disown or press you or
make you feel bad for doing.
We're gonna encourage. Even my other homegirl, Nelly, she is not into it like us. She's like a new beginner, and I found it I was so happy. She's like, "Carmen, I got a Bible." I said, "Oh,
I love it."
It's like those baby steps. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I understand like the respect thing. Like, I am not gonna force whatever I believe on you. I am curious. I want to know the difference. I really think theology. We can go down conspiracies. We can go down myths. We can go down all that all day with me. You know me. But when it comes down to my personal, you becoming personally close with me, we need to be on the same. We need to be on the same page. And I actually had this conversation with my boyfriend, and I asked him, and he was like, I don't know. I don't know what God got in store for me. I don't know. Maybe he is supposed to bring that person into my life that doesn't believe what I believe. I can't say that to me, and that person can't be in a relationship, because you think about, quote me, she's my Bible checker. That one who married the prostitute. God told him to marry the prostitute, and she kept having kids. Oh my goodness, Deidre!
It ain't clicking. Go ahead, keep talking.
But anyway, and that's what made me think of that story. He had to marry the prostitute, and God was like, he was like, God, why do I need to go take her back? Why do I need to go get her? And he ended up doing it. And then there was all for a bigger purpose.
But in those cases, though, I feel like Gomer was the wife of the prophet Hosea. Was it that?
Probably. I don't know. I suck at this. Told you I'm new. I just be remembering what I be listening to at church.
Yeah, it says Gomer and Hosea.
Yes, Hosea. Hosanna, Hosea. Yes, that story. Yeah. See, I knew what I was talking about. Y'all look it up. Google it. I ain't gonna sit here and try to prophesy to talk to y'all about that, because I'm still learning. But so I thought about that. Like, okay, but he, in his journey, he is up there.
I was about to say,
he's up there with the spiritual. Like, he was like, I don't know, I just lead. And I was like, well, how? And I was getting so frustrated because I couldn't understand. I said, what about when conflict? Like, I kept asking him questions to see if he would ever get to the point where I was saying, like, it does matter, like, your religion does matter. But he's like, no, I'm so secure on what God's telling me to do. I'm gonna obey and listen.
Well, yeah, if God.
But I'm like, but how do you know? Like, what's your sign to know that that's your thing? Like, you're supposed to go do this. You're supposed to go talk to that person. Like, how do you know in your heart that it's from God? Like, or he was like, I know when to walk away. I said, okay, but what was it that made you walk away? Like, how can you tell me that? And he was like, I can't. I don't know. I just listen. It's just something. I'm like, okay, I ain't up there with you yet. I ain't get that far in my journey.
I ain't up there either. I still be trying to ask people that's very, like, insensitive, like some of the stuff they call is like sensitive to the spirit, where you can feel his presence. He'll tell you stuff. You can minister to other people, whatever. Which some people I've met, they be telling me stuff like, how do you know that? And I'm like, I want to be that sensitive to the spirit, like. So I'm not that sensitive to the spirit, and I be asking people. I did this like a month or two ago, and I was like, what does he sound like? Is it like a deep voice? Is it like a voice? Like, what are you hearing? Because I'm curious. Because I be feeling like I hear stuff, but I'm like, damn, that's me. I think that's me.
That's just me talking. That's just me going around in my head.
So I'm right there with you with that.
So if I feel like if you're that secure and you really abide, I think you know what you're supposed to do, and I get it. But I'm talking about people like us, like in the newbie, the beginning. And I talked to this older gentleman, and he said that when he was like, this question is so broad that it can go depending on where you are in stages romantically. If you are in love with this person, you would do whatever you need to do to compromise to make sure that you and this person, there's nothing that's going to be too big or too small that you guys can't overcome, right? So my debate to that is, but I think me and my mind is like, if your value, what you believe in is kind of somewhat your foundation, your identity. That's like who you are. Now, I know I say who you are, like, you know, some people are like, oh, it's not what you do and stuff like that. I know I say that. And sometimes your religion, people can hide behind their religion. And that's how like cults and stuff happen. So there's a healthy way to do it. But to me, I feel like I'm disobeying what I believe in if I'm going to date somebody who doesn't believe in what I believe in.
Now, don't get me wrong.
But if I'm doing myself a disservice.
Don't get me wrong. Like, even with the example you use, if God directs you to that, it's because there's a bigger picture and he sees something that maybe you can guide that person to him, and y'all will grow together in him. Okay, so that is a thing. Don't get me wrong. But that's not all cases. That's not a lot of cases. So I agree with you a whole lot when it comes down to that, because when you said about the whole compromising thing, that makes me feel like if I have to compromise with you, that means I'm compromising on the side with God too. And I ain't doing that because I ain't trying to go to hell just because I love you. Like, I love you, but my love, your love for God is always supposed to be better and higher than anybody else's, because God is the one who put you here as well as he put her here. So, okay, you love her more than you. Who's to say now he gonna take her out because of the fact that you're basically putting her ahead of him because you're compromising your beliefs in him to be with this person.
Yeah. And that's just for us. Like we said, there's other different...
There's other religions.
There's other religions. And my thing is, even if you're not a religious person, you still have boundaries.
Correct.
You still have non-negotiables.
Correct.
My question to y'all is religion or spirituality, because some people don't like to be like, oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual.
Right. And I get that too. Because that's why I said the Christian.
I am a very spiritual person as well, but I do believe there's one God and Jesus died for our sins. Yes. Is religion a non-negotiable for y'all? Like, is it? And I think since I'm so new into this, I definitely think it is for me, for sure. Now, because I was dating this guy and he was Muslim, and it didn't grow to be anything serious, but in the first beginning stages, this is when we started doing the reading a book every so odd weeks or whatever, and I was reading Exodus at the time, and he sat there, he read the Bible, like he did all his research on all different religions. He just said Muslim fit him more, right? So we had open conversations about both. We talked about the chapter. He explained to me his beliefs and all that. And so if it's a situation like that, it's respect. Like, it could have possibly been something, but that was always on the back of my mind. I was like, how serious would I really get with him because he's Muslim? You know what I'm saying?
I will say this, and this is something, again, that's why I said I'm going to tolerate this. I'm starting to learn, because there are backstories to all these religions, even Christianity, which is why I said that, because it's a whole thing when you go actually do the research of how Christianity came about, and that's the whole thing. So, with that being said, if you really go and research a lot of them, which I have not researched all of them, but me and my boyfriend have researched some, and he's very knowledgeable in a lot of that stuff.
He's a theologist.
He's
that's what they're called.
Just so smart. But a lot of religions intertwine.
I'm glad you said that, because your girl got research, y'all.
Yes, a lot of them have very a lot of similarities, but then there are a lot of differences too. So there are going to be things that a Christian can sit down and talk about a Catholic with. Same thing with a Muslim. Same thing with even Jehovah's Witness. There's a lot of things that intertwine.
I think, and I realized this doing research on here. Me and my boyfriend believe in the same thing, but our practices are different.
That is a thing.
I'm a more for the people, right? He's for the people too. Let me not say he's not, but he's more of a homebody, intimate, one-on-one type of vibe, right?
Yes.
Me, I go to church. Yes. I serve in the prison community. I go to church events. Like, I'm a fellowship person. He's a fellowship person when he needs to speak. Like, if he feels like, oh, I need to go speak, I need to say something. And it irks the heck out of me, because he be putting words into me and I be mad. I be so mad.
What?
Because I'm like, okay, so the way he comes to tell me stuff, it's stuff that I need to hear. You know how I am, girl. Like, it's something that I need to hear,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to hear it at the time.
Oh, yeah,
It's
okay.
like one of those things. It's like, so, prime example, this podcast. So, what you doing? Why aren't you doing the podcast? What's going on? Da da da. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm trying to eat and go to sleep. Like, why we gotta talk about this? Nah, I'm just saying. I tell you, you gotta do it. This is what you're supposed to do. God, da da da. And he just so worded me, and I'm just pouting. And then I'm like, okay, let me get on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's like one of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, that's a good thing. So after we was doing the book, I had started getting deeper, and then we had the thing where
Leviticus, just to say, I made it through Leviticus. I did, y'all. That one was hard for me.
The book, there's a lot of laws and stuff in that one. Then we started doing the whole group with the women. We started doing a study on the women and all that stuff. And then me and him, we started getting into the Bible heavy. And then for some reason, I kind of slowed down a little bit, and he kept going. This man is all the way in the New Testament. Like, he has listened to every book of the Bible all the way in the New Testament. And we was recently talking, and like when he finds something deep, he's like, babe, did you know this and did you know that? And he been pulling me like, babe, where are you at in the Bible? What? Why do you slow down?
That was you with me. I was like, oh, you're on Deuteronomy. You're on Numbers. I'm like,
listen.
Okay, let me get there.
Listen. I'm like, he's like, well, now I'm like, okay, let me get back on. Now I'm in Kings, y'all, but like, I still ain't going like how he going. And I'm just like, but it aggravates me a little bit because he's like, oh, did you know this? And he was like, you know what? I'm just going to send you this. Read 1 Corinthians this, because he was like, this pertains to us. Oh, this is a question you had before. Read this, And it aggravates me and stuff, but then at the same time, it aggravates me because it's like, we started this together. I slowed down. He kept going. Now he's trying to pull me along. Like, what are you doing? Like, he's telling me what I need to hear. What I'm supposed to be
and
doing.
That's the thing. And even when I get business ideas or I meet people,
mm-hmm.
his first question is, well, what's the benefit? Why you want to do it? What's the benefit? And I'm like, I don't know. I just heard this opportunity. I'm trying to research it. Like, give me time. Literally. And he does it all the time. And then at the end of the day, he's always right. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to shut up. But I say all that to say, if me and you weren't aligned spiritually that way,
you wouldn't be able to.
How you wouldn't know how to maneuver me. And I think we had a conversation before about this when we went to brunch, and he was like, why would God go ahead and tell somebody else something for me, right? Remember we had that conversation?
Sure.
She don't remember. We had brunch.
I remember we had brunch.
And we was talking deep into it. We was talking deep into it.
Yeah.
And then, either way, a lot of people be like, why would God would go ahead and tell me something? Why he got to tell the next person to tell me, or whatever the case may be? But sometimes we're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to give somebody else. And if you're not around the right people or in the right atmosphere, because it could be a stranger, you're not going to hear the word that you need to hear. So granted, we know what we're supposed to be doing, but are we doing what we're doing? God's like, you need to hurry up. You need to hurry up and do what you need to do. So, but if we don't believe in the same God or the same belief system, how would I ever, do you think that would mess up your trust for that person?
Not necessarily. Don't get me wrong. If God means for you to hear something, God can use anybody. He can use a drunk.
That's true.
He can use a homeless person. He can use
the
person next to you. Now, they might not realize it's coming from God, but something was just put in their head or their spirit or whatever to tell you, hey, babe, what's been going on, da 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 da. So I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of hit and miss.
It is a hit and miss. And as I was doing this research, for one, I did a research for one of the most common religions in the world. And I think I got
was it Catholic, Christianity, Jews?
I got 5, 7? Was it 5, 7? Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna go through my notes. Okay, so it's right here. So about 4. So they had Christianity, Islam, Judaism, uh, Hinduism, Buddhism.
I didn't know Hinduism.
Yeah, Hinduism, Buddhism, and there's another one that I can't say. I'm gonna find it.
I'm surprised Catholic wasn't one of them.
It started with an S.
Yes.
This word, schism.
Sikhism?
I don't know what that is.
I ain't never heard of that.
I don't know what that is.
I ain't never heard of that one.
But anyway, so they say Christianity's core belief is Christianity is based on the life of teaching of Jesus Christ, who believed to be the Son of the God and the Savior of humanity. Christian believes in one God, the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and the importance of faith Jesus for our salvation. The Bible is the scripture, right? Salvation through faith in Jesus Christ, repentance and grace. Afterlife is heaven for the saved, hell for the damned, right? Islam's core belief is Islam is based on the teaching of the Prophet Muhammad, who is considered the final prophet. Muslims believe in one God, Allah, and follows the Quran as the scripture. 5 pillars of Islam guides daily life and practices. Salvation is achieved through submission to the will of Allah, good deeds, and following the 5 pillars. Afterlife is heaven for the righteous, hell for the wicked.
Again, that's what I said.
It's kind of the same, right?
Similar.
It's just the practice is different.
Well, the practice, and then, you know, there's about Allah and stuff.
Yeah, it's the what they call people, what they call them, but they still only believe that there is one God. And I think that's one of the main similarities, right? Then you have Judaism, which is Judaism centers around the belief of God, Yahweh, right? That's how you say that? Yahweh. The Hebrew believes...
which is, that's same for us, Yahweh,
yeah. Jewish identity is linked to the conventional relationship with God. Jews await the coming of the Messiah, salvation through righteous living, adherence to the Torah, and observance of Jewish laws, right?
And we're really close when it comes
We're
down
close to that.
To when it comes down to Jews.
Now, their afterlife, various views, but generally composed of reincarnation and world coming to an end, right?
Well, that's ours is similar because
same, right?
The world, you know, him coming back, the world ending, and him creating a new world for all of us.
Yep, and then you have Hinduism, which is a diverse religion, but common beliefs include the components of Brahman, the unlimited reality, and the atom, which is why they call it atom, soul, all this, which is the soul. Hinduists believe in karma, actions and consequences, and in reincarnation. Their salvation is moksha, from the cycle of reincarnation through realizing one's true nature, atom, and union of Brahman, right?
I don't know too much about them.
I don't know too much about them either.
Well, I don't know anything about them. I'm not saying too much.
Buddhism is found by Siddhartha, the Buddha, which is the big guy with the belly. Buddhism emphasizes in the noble truth and the eightfold path as mean to overcome suffering. The ultimate goal is to reach Nirvana, the cessations of suffering, the desire. So basically, your suffering and your desire, they're more conscious led. That's basically what it came to. Salvation is achieved through practice of mindfulness, ethic, conduct, and wisdom. Conscious. That's where you get all those famous like life quotes and circle, the tree of life, and all that stuff. Schism. That's how we said we're gonna say it. I don't know what this is, but it is founded by the Guru Naka. Teaches belief in one God, but it's called Wahguru. These are different languages, so they got to be somewhere in the Middle East or something. And the importance of service to other, humanity, and meditation on God. The Guru is the Holy Scripture, achieved through devotion to God, selflessness, service, and living true life. Afterlife, souls merge with God after liberation, ending the cycle of rebirth. And there's so many more. There's so many more religions. The Shinto is Japan and focus on the spirits of gods. rituals, and scaredness of nature. Their salvation is not a central focus, rather, Shinto emphasizes purity, rituals, and harmonious living. Afterlife varies, but generally includes concept of spiritual rather than afterlife, focusing on salvation. So there's a lot of different religion. There's probably like a good 5 more on this page. But what intrigued me the most that I did not know, and these are the new words that I learned, y'all. And y'all probably already knew these words, but I was like, I had to Google them. Non-theistic. You never heard that either? Yes. It just means that they don't believe in gods. So that's Buddhism. Buddhism doesn't believe in a god. They believe in a person, and that person. And I never knew that. I really thought like that statue was like how they envisioned their god to be.
I thought so too.
But no, they don't believe in a god. Monotheistic,
I've heard of that.
which is they believe in one god.
Mm-hmm.
And then polytheistic means they mean in multiple gods, which is the Hinduism. They believe in more than one god.
Mm-hmm.
And Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and Sikhism only believes in one God. So a lot of the people that I was talking to, they are religious or spiritual. They believe, if they believe in one God, they feel like they will be able to go ahead and be in relationship with them.
See, but the thing with that is, you can believe in one God, and I can believe in one God. We believe in 2 separate gods. And your God is telling you certain things, and my God is telling me certain things, which is going to conflict with each other. Mm-hmm. So, even just believing in that one God, because you got what we consider other deities and things like, I hate to say the other names, but that people worship and consider gods, and they like human sacrifice or baby sacrifice, or they still want you to do certain things with blood and stuff like that. So that's conflicting with things that I believe. So I can't even
That's
say.
what I feel like after doing a lot of this research. First of all, there are studies that there are a lot of relationships that they do not have the same religion beliefs,
Yeah, I've seen that.
And they actually succeed. And I know a couple of them, but like we said, one is a Christian and the other one is Jewish.
Which they are very close.
They celebrate both Christmas and Hanukkah and all that stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what it boils down to. And a lot of people don't even look at those little things like, okay, parenting skills. How are we going to raise our child? What are we going to allow them to do and what we're not going to allow them? How are we going to experience holidays? Another issue was, okay, me and you might get along, but my family's really Hinduism.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's going to be conflict out there. So sometimes it's not just you lack, like, you and your partner may be cool. Like, y'all understand, y'all respect each other, y'all happy, healthy, y'all love each other, you see it as pure. But you will have conflicts with other people. And I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, your relationship shouldn't matter on other people and stuff like that. But it does put a wrench in your relationship because holidays, what are you going to do? I actually just watched this Christmas movie, and she was marrying the woman was Hinduism or Hindu. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's Hindu, and she went to go bring her fiance to her family's house for the holidays, and they were going to get married. And they had all these traditions going on, and the family loved them. The dad had a little issue with the guy, but they're like, what about my family traditions? What about the husband, the new soon-to-be husband was like, what about mine? It's like, you're so wrapped up in your culture and what you're doing, like, we have something else too. And it was a big issue. I think that still matters. But a lot of people are saying love conquers all that doesn't matter. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty, now looking at it overview and you've never been put in that situation, for you might say like, oh yeah, I'm open-minded, it'll work. But when you really get down to it, would it really work? And are you actually being truthful to who you are?
I was about to say, are you being truthful to who you are and your spirituality? Because again, like we said, certain spiritualities or religions or whatever you want to call it are really close. So with those ones that don't have like drastic differences and stuff, okay, that's different. But the ones that are like completely different or completely opposite.
So the ones based on some of the research I did, moral and spirituality, I feel like that's probably gonna be the most way you can indicate if you could deal with that person or not, based on what their moral and spiritual beliefs are. And they found that Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism are all aligned. They believe in ethical living, the pursuit of virtue such as compassion, justice, and humanity, and emphasizes on good deeds.
Yeah, but you just also told me that Buddhism, they don't believe in God. They only believe in a man.
Exactly, so and that's that. But that's an issue.
In Hinduism, you worship multiple gods.
They do.
Yeah, so that
they do. But their moral beliefs.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's you. But I'm just saying, based on studies and based on things that I've seen and research, those are the closest that their spirituality, the way they view life. Let's put it that way.
Well,
the way they decide to live life.
I think it depends on the people. Because if you're not strong, I don't even want to necessarily say that, but I feel like if you're not that strong, that can work if you guys aren't really talking about religion. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I have relationships with friends and stuff. We don't talk about religion. Okay, that's cool. We can, but that's not somebody I'm living with, having sex with, having kids with, having a family with. So
that's what I'm saying. Friends is different. Friends, you can have all the different views you want. You can have the political views. You can have the justice views. You can have all that. We can still be friends because at the end of the day, I don't go. You're not in my house.
Right.
You know what they say for me in my house. So we don't got to talk about that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. At my house, though, that means that in order to me, I would feel like from the outside looking in, I would feel like that means that you guys, either somebody or both of you guys, are not talking about spirit, like y'all religious views. Especially if we have two different. I serve multiple gods or believe in multiple gods, and you only believe in one. We not, I don't feel like those are conversations that we're having in order for to make this relationship
Now, don't
work.
get me wrong, y'all. I am not out here saying like, oh, I can't associate myself with anybody who doesn't. That's not what I'm saying. Friendships, business partners, maybe. I don't care what you do. Do you, I'm going to love you. I love everybody, right? But when it's time for me to come into my intimate, peaceful place where I can let down all my guards, I'm not 100% sure if I can deal with somebody who does not have the same views as me.
Mm-mm.
Political.
I know I can.
Political, to me,
I stay away from that.
I don't really care too much about it. I used to really be big on politics because that's what a lot of people was their debate with me. Like, what about politics? And da-da-da. You'll marry somebody who voted for da-da-da. Again, my God or my beliefs is over that. So I know I'm going to be taken care of, exactly. Whatever. As long as I'm doing my part in the community to make it as better as I can, I'm okay with that. But then you have some people who are really big on politics and not big on religion, and that's something, whatever. So at the end of the day, all matters at your own preference. But my biggest fear of reason why I probably wouldn't do is because the conviction part. I don't want you to worry about convicting me.
And I don't want to convict you.
And I don't want to convict you. I don't
want to be a stumbling block in your way.
Yeah, so friends, cool. Do what you want. Relationships, partner, nah, it's going to be a hard no for me. It's going to be a hard no for me.
Don't get it twisted. I am not perfect by a long shot. I sin every day and have to repent every day. Well, maybe not every day, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I'm not perfect, don't get me wrong. I am trying to get better in my religion all the time and get stronger and more spiritual. And so is my boyfriend. He's not perfect by a long shot either. But we understand it, and we are trying to do better, and we're trying to grow together.
So obviously we made a point on all this, but I have another question. How do you even bring this conversation up when you first date somebody?
Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus / Yeshua, what are your beliefs?
Okay.
Do you have any beliefs? Are you spiritual? Like,
Mm-hmm.
just, we're going to have that conversation.
We're going to have the conversation. You're going to bring it up.
Yeah, I'm going to ask.
Yeah, I'm going to ask too. But just so some people who are still on the fence, let's look at it through their ends. The not yet believers of probably anything. Let's just not say Christianity, just not yet anything. Do you really think that having that conversation of what you believe in is hard?
No.
Even when you first started?
I didn't. So my issue was, I didn't have that conversation when like everybody knew, anybody that knew me, this was friends and everybody knew I was in the church. My mom did not play. I was always in the church. Even in school, I was not allowed to go to my friend's house. My friends could come to my house, was allowed, and they would come to church with me and everything. But
that's the rule. You come to my house, you gotta go to church.
Right. So everybody knew I was a believer or whatever. But so I never felt the need to have that conversation. Even guys that dated, oh yeah, Sunday she gonna be at church, right? And then she goes. So they already knew, but not even necessarily. I didn't think to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, that is a conversation I need to have, because a lot of the guys when I was younger that I did talk to or date, I mean, not to say some of them did believe in God, but they didn't have a relationship with Him,
mm-hmm.
and then some of them was just like not really into it or whatever. Not that they were devil worshippers, but they was just like, yeah, I'm not a spiritual person type of thing. And as I got older, I started realizing, I'm like, yeah, that's not okay. And on top of that, if I'm being intimate with these people, those are different spirits that I can be bringing in on myself.
See, that was, I guess I'm opposite. I guess for me, it was difficult because nobody around me was. Speaking of that, you know what I'm saying? So I had those conversations with adults. Like, you know, adults will come talk to me and be like, yo, you got something in you, you know, giving me this whole spiel. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just trying to go make this money, let me go, type of thing. But I never really thought to be like, oh, what do you believe in? Do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? I remember when I was younger, I was talking to one of my boyfriends and I was like, how do you know you're talking to God? Like, how do you talk to God? And he was like, just have a conversation. I was cussing at him and all that. Like, I just have a conversation with him. Like, you know, and I'm just like, huh? Like, because to me, I'm used to seeing my aunt, my aunt's Jehovah's Witness, mm-hmm. and all that. So I had got baptized when I was like, what, 8, 9, with my aunt.
Yeah,
just to do it with her because she wanted me to do it. And not knowing.
Do it again.
Me too. not knowing like, I knew what I was doing, but like I didn't really have my own relationship.
Yeah.
So it was a little different for me. But I think it started kicking in more when I had my own child. But then goes to, I was around people who were more in that field, so it was like a little bit more comfortable. So what tips would you give to somebody who was in my shoes that didn't know how to talk about it? If this is something that you really believe in and what you want, because you know it's really hard for people to talk about their own they're non-negotiables. Some people don't even have boundaries or know anything of that nature. So how can we say religion and stuff matters, relationship matters, if we don't even know how to properly talk about it or express it?
I think you need to figure out what matters to you first, actually. Mm-hmm. Because not that it didn't matter, but that wasn't something that when I was younger, I thought, like how you said, I didn't find that important. I was like, oh my gosh, mm-hmm. he's cute. Oh, he's a bad boy, or oh, he's the football player. He's that. That was what at that time I found important. So I think you need to realize what you find important in a mate first. Is religion important to you? If it is, then it's like, okay, now it's like, now that I realize that it is important for me to find another mate, having that conversation, that sit down, like, hey, you know, I feel like it's easy. Once you find that it is important to you, I feel like it is easy to have that conversation.
It is. It's kind of like, But it goes down to, like, do you really know? And are you secure in that, in your belief?
I was about to say, that could be a thing. They're not secure in their belief to know, or not even secure. They
don't fully believe it in themselves.
Or they don't realize how important it could be. They don't realize how important it is.
Because they're so sidetracked with everything else.
Yeah, they're distracted, and it's like, oh, well, I believe, and
or they're just saying it just to say it because they think.
Or they may think it's enough. Their belief's enough. Well, I go to church, I believe. He just doesn't. But how is that helping you?
I seen another movie too when it was a Tubi movie, y'all, and she was putting money into tithes, and her husband didn't believe to go to church with her, didn't believe in it. But then when he seen the statement and realized that she put like $10,000, maybe $15,000 in tithes for the year, he was like really, really mad. And that's something to think about, like when you're doing stuff and when you're so used to doing stuff alone and doing stuff a certain way, it's always hard when you start dating somebody else, right? When you start bringing somebody else into your life, now you got to try to coexist lives with one another. It's hard because, especially for me, I'm used to doing things a certain way. And now I'm asking you to come into it, and then you want me to act a certain way, and I want you to act a certain way.
Now we got to compromise.
Now we have to try to compromise. That's where compromise comes from. So now it's kind of like the conversation we had last time with the girl who just got the job and who's the power and the leader and all this stuff. It's kind of that same dynamic of, okay, but this is who I am. So now are you asking me to change who I am for you so you could be happy?
Well, a lot of times you do have to change who you are when you get in a relationship to an extent. Well, not who you are.
It's just how you are. Not who,
yeah.
But how you
like
maneuver.
Your day-to-day, your
day-to-day changes. Like, I know a lot of people don't like getting in relationships because they don't like to check in all the time. They don't like to let somebody know their whereabouts or what they're doing. So relationships are hard and complicated. Friendships are hard and complicated. And I'm not only talking about like any type of ship. Let's just put any type of ship out there.
Yeah, because even being a parentship, that is so hard, y'all. Oh my gosh, it is so hard. And having that balance. And then on top of that, being in a relationship, having a significant other, trying to be in a relationship with them, and being a parent,
trying to work, trying to have friends,
trying to have a relationship with yourself.
Yeah, like it's really, really hard. And sometimes having that spiritual component of whatever spiritual component it is that you believe in, it gives you a sense of hope.
Oh yes,
it gives you a sense of hope. You have hope, guidance, and you having hope makes you having faith makes you have hope, and you having hope gives you the drive to do whatever it is you want to do, right? And that can be down to a psychological aspect. Like, if you don't believe in something, you will not move towards it, right? And that could be if you believe in yourself to do that job, believe in yourself to do whatever it is. If you don't have that belief that it can be done or it will be done, you're never going to move. So,
or you're not moving with a purpose.
Exactly. You're just floating out here. It's just another day. Like, ever said, people be like, oh, there's something missing and I don't know what it is. I'm just not happy, or I'm just not this. Your spirit isn't awoken yet. So whatever it is, I'm not saying you got to believe in Christianity, you got to believe in Buddhism, you got to believe in Judaism. You are just not connected with your spirit self, because you have to know that there is something more in this world. Like, there's more. So whenever you decide to get on any ship or anything, I think that really matters. That's your identity. That's who you are, what you believe in, and what your moral is. That matters. And are you willing to compromise that just to say that you have a friend, just to say you're a business owner, just to say you're in a relationship, just to say that you're somebody's wife or a husband? Like, is there anything that be willing to compromise yourself for? Right? So
I don't want to go burn for you.
I don't want to go burn for you.
I got the fire before. I don't want to feel it again.
I can't stand you. But yeah, that was interesting. this was a doozy for me. This definitely made me look at a lot of stuff.
I didn't realize there was so many people that were married and had different.
Yeah, I think the study said about 70% of marriages, they have different belief systems, and a lot of them are healthy, but they do. The only difference that they said is, yes, they have a lot of marriages and they're happy and healthy, but their conflict resolution was a little longer. Their fights were longer, or the way they their things were more intense than some people who had the same beliefs system. Because the practice, just how you practice, is different. Like, you're Muslim and you pray 5 times a day, and then the other person doesn't. They barely practice prayer. So
that's something I do love and respect about them. Mm-hmm. That whole, they make sure they are getting their prayers in. I feel like I could be better in that area. Mm-hmm. I do like the fact that they do that.
Yeah, so everybody's different. Culture, the way you were raised has an effect on how you decide to live your life as an adult. There's just so many aspects and angles into the world, and just don't get roped up and lost in trying to figure them out all. Just find one that sticks with you, that works for you, and go for it. And don't be rude to other people. Don't be disrespectful or distant just because somebody doesn't believe in what you believe in. They don't have the cooties. They're not going to kill you. They're not going to rub off on you. They're not contagious.
I ain't going to say rude, but I certain ones at the distance from. It was this girl.
Well, was it
she was
the religious, but the or just her personality?
No, she was a witch. She considered herself to be a witch. She practiced spells and stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, no. That's a no for me. I have no issue with her personally. You know, it's just, go this way. Have a nice day. Good on that. I'm not.
Yeah, there's just certain things that you just can and cannot deal with. But for the most part,
but no need to be rude about it. You know?
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that part.
Let them be. Do what you got to do and just let them be. And, live your best life. As always, because that's all we're trying to do. Everybody's trying to find a place to fit in and get in. But
get in where you fit in.
Overall, just don't ever disrespect yourself. Because I hate to say that you're all you got, because you're not all you got, but you all you got, if that makes sense, right? Like,
don't respect your belief. Disrespect your belief.
Because if you don't respect it,
how you expect somebody else to?
Exactly. There's a way to have a conversation and just have it. You'd be surprised what people may say or agree to.
Yeah.
Any other things you got to say?
This is another episode of Creating Life Changes. This is your host, Carmen, and I am Deetra. Thank you so much. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. But we do have an announcement.
All right, y'all. So, we are going to start a womanhood group, okay?
We're going to officially come up with some type of name.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but it's a work in progress. However, we are asking for 10 women max to go ahead and DM either me or Miss Deetra and tell us if you're interested, and see if you want to meet up at least once a month to talk all things woman life. Empowering, get intimate, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to shed a tear or two, because we just feel like a lot of people are just in their tough era, and we're trying to break that. We're trying to break down these walls and let women open up and know that they're not alone in anything that they're doing, and just have those real intimate one-on-one conversations with all of us.
Yeah. It's going to be like the idea behind it's more so to be like a venting, in a sense, session where, us women, a lot of times we feel like we got to be strong. A lot of us are mothers.
Yep.
Some of us are caretakers. Yep. We working. So I'm going to school, doing like busy.
The
busy,
pressure
busy,
of
busy.
the world is just
Yes.
on our shoulders, and
we don't have time to a lot of times to vent,
We
or no
don't.
one to vent to. Sometimes,
Exactly.
and we feel like we always got to be strong. So this is the time to let everything out.
Yeah, give your opportunity and space. And for those who aren't big on venting like me,
For me,
it is a good, safe place to come and listen, just so you can hear that you're not alone, and to get your mind wandering and give you a little bit of encouragement and remind you that you are awesome and you're killing this womanhood thing. Whether you're a mom, whether you're a student, whether you're a career, whatever it is you're going, hit us up, because we want to, make this a family thing, right?
Yeah, and let you know you're not alone. We all are going through something. It might not be the same thing, but we all going through something.
Or done been there on what you've been going through.
Exactly.
So go ahead and DM us, email me, whatever works best for you, and come hang out with us. And depending on how many people we get, we'll be able to have it more than once a month.
Yep.
Right? So remember, only 10 slots. Just 10 slots. So you better go ahead and DM us now and get it booked.
Yes, Slatos. Probably that's
We're done. Catch y'all later. Love you. Bye.